Week 6 recap, Week 7 look ahead, much anticipated power rankings, parlay report. Let's get into it. Week 6, first matchup, Capone's V-Card versus Big Balls. Capone's V-Card, big performance. King of the week, 150. Puts Big Balls down by 50 plus points, 96 for Big Balls. Big Balls drops to 4-2. Capone's V-Card improves to 3-3. Next matchup, the Goblins versus Cambodians. The Goblins, 139. Cambodians, 104. The Goblins improved to 4-2. Cambodians to 104. It's looking like Patrick Mahomes may be the fantasy QB that he was in the past. He is currently the QB1 in fantasy and doing wonders for the Goblins. They improved to 4-2. Cambodians 2-4. Cambodians entering the danger zone. A true under Big Dog story versus the Tasty Boys Club. Man, we talked about the true under Big Dog story being fraudulent and a little lucky. And it looks like their luck continues. 135 when they most needed it versus 127 from the Tasty Boys Club. True under Big Dog story getting a lot of help from Rico Dowdle while Chuba Hubbard's been out. Back-to-back 30 pieces for Rico Dowdle. We'll talk more about the True under Big Dog story during power rankings. Swamp Dicks versus Dog Pound, our toilet bowl, our matchup to watch. And boy, was it a toilet bowl. 94-74. Swamp Dicks take this one and improve to 2-4. The Dog Pound fall to 1-5 and sit at the bottom. Next up, Fear the Chode versus Hurley and Chuck Shear. Hurley and Chuck Shear scrapes one away from Fear the Chode, 108-103. Hurley and Chuck Shear improved to 5-1. Fear the Chode 3-3. Next up, Elmwood Lawyer versus Big Nick's Energy. Elmwood Lawyer gets the win here, 105. Big Nick's Energy 91. Elmwood Lawyer 4-2. Big Nick's Energy Danger 1-5. Not good for Big Nick's Energy. Now let's do the Week 7 look ahead, and then we'll talk about power rankings and kind of dig into the teams more so. Got Cambodians versus Big Balls. Tasty Boys Club versus Goblins. Dog Pound versus V-Card. Hurley and Chuck Shear versus True Under Big Dog Story. Big Nick's Energy versus Swamp Dicks. Elmwood Lawyer versus Fear the Chode. We have two matchups to watch. Hurley and Chuck Shear versus True Under Big Dog Story. The two 5-1 teams sitting atop the standings. Big buy implications this week for them. The other is Big Nick's Energy versus Swamp Dicks. 1-5 versus 2-4. Big Nick's Energy gets this win and makes life a lot easier for them. They'll match Swamp Dick's record, so they're not alone. And they'll also avoid the absolute dreaded 1-6 start. If you're 1-6, well, you're done. You're done, Shane. So big week for Big Nick's Energy. They need it bad. Now, before we do the power rankings, we'll do our parlay report. Short and simple on this. Big Dog absolutely screwed us in the parlay. Just completely lost it for us. Just really bad from his sources that he has. Just really bad. And yeah, he fucked us bad. That's the report this week for parlay. All right, so let's do power rankings. We'll do like I say every week, tiers are what's most important. Um, Not so much rankings, because it's hard to separate a lot of teams. But we will do in tier one. I'm sorry, no, let's just go through it. So we have in the one spot, Hurley and Chuck's here. Two spot, Fear the Choge. Three spot, Big Balls. Four spot, Elmwood Lawyer. Five spot, Capone's V card. Six spot, the Cambodians. Seven spot, Big Nick's Energy. Eight spot, True Under Big Dog Story. I'm sorry. Eight spot, Swamp Dicks. Nine spot, True Under Big Dog Story. 10 spot, the Goblins. 11 spot, Boys Club. 12 spot, the Dog Pound. Now tiers. Tier 1, we have Hurling Chucks here. Big Balls. Fear the Choge. Capone's B card. I'm with Lawyer. Tier 2, we have the Cambodians. We have Big Nick's Energy. And we have Swamp Dicks. In tier 3, we have True Under Big Dog Story. The Goblins. The Boys Club. And the Dog Pound. There we have it. Now there's going to be some crying from people saying, well, my team should be better, or that team should be lower, or your team isn't that good. Listen, here's the teams where I expect to have some issues. Some may come after Big Balls for being in tier one, but when you have the number one overall and number two overall fantasy assets, number one running back, number one wide receiver, number one flex, and number two flex spot, and Jonathan Taylor and Puka. You don't find teams like that very often. And there's other pieces along with that. Romo Doomsday, Chris Olave. You have some boom and bust guys with Marvin Harrison. Um, there's just that's enough to make it a top three team and tier one team. If you don't find a team that has the number one and number two flex spot, it's rare. So that clears that up for anybody who had questions. True Under Big Dog Story, they're gonna say, oh, we're 5-1. How are we in the last tier? Well, I mean that Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter, yeah, Rico Dowdle's been unbelievable, but I'm sorry, Chuba Hubbard's coming back. Dowdle will likely be the lead back, but you're not getting 33 back-to-back 32.9 points. You're not getting that again with Chuba Hubbard back. Chuba Hubbard is going to be involved. Rico Dowdle will be the main back, but Chuba Hubbard's not just going to be sitting on the sideline. So I don't expect that from Rico Dowdle. Don't get me wrong, I could be wrong. I have to go off of what I think and use my best judgment. This in 3 weeks from now when we do our next power ranking, if Rico Dowdle is putting up 20 plus consistently, then this team will get a very fair re-rating. But right now we can't get it to them. Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter as their starters, starting wide receivers. I'm sorry, but that's not gonna get it done on a weekly basis. Another team. Let's see who else might have some issue. Maybe the Goblins because they're 4-2. Um, but looking at the Goblins, Mahomes and McCaffrey that's great. But outside of that, I don't really like this team. I mean, DeAndre Swift, he's good. He's had he had one good game last night. Um, but outside of that, like he's not going to be that reliable. He's a starter, but he's just not great. Cooper Kupp as a starting wide receiver. Um, no, I don't like it at all. Terry McLaurin, he's been hurt, but like Deebo Samuel's taken a lot from him. When he's been healthy, he's done nothing. Jameson Williams, complete boomer bust. It's just there's a lot of holes. A lot of holes. I don't like it. That's all. I think that's about it with who would have issues. If you don't like your spot, just look at your team and then just go look at any other team and compare it. And you might be like, and remember, you're gonna be a little biased. So if you're like, yeah, my team matches up with that, rather than my team's definitely better than that, then you know that it's not. Um, so yeah, that's that. Let's see. We'll talk about Elmwood Lawyer and Capone's B card week. We'll have some more clarity on these teams in 3 weeks. Mainly for Capone's B card, a lot of it your success hinges on Cam Scatterbill continuing what he's doing, and the New York Giants actually having a offensive resurgence with Dart, and then also Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice is coming back. We'll see how much that eats into Xavier Worthy and how much that affects his fantasy value. On the other end, I'm with Lawyer. This team could get a serious re-rating if we need more games from the Bengals with Joe Flacco. So far, it looked good for Jamar Chase. We'll see if that offense can get going and get Chase Brown going. It's looking up for Elmwood Lawyer, and then they have Rashee Rice, so we'll see what he actually looks like in these next 3 weeks. And if that's the case, this team is very good. Agbuka should be back in around 3 weeks. If Rashee Rice is good and this Bengals offense continues, this team could be take over Hurley and Chuck's year as the number one rated team if those things pan out. But we can't. There's too many unknowns right now. We can't use last week as a marker going forward for the Bengals, and we can't assume that Rashee Rice is just going to be the alpha, or if it's going to be more of a split with him and Xavier Worthy. But things looking up for Elmwood Lawyer. That's about it. That's where we're at. Those are the power rankings. We'll do this again in 3 weeks. But yeah, look out for Dog Pound and Big Nick's Energy for the hot dogs. Look out for Hurley and Chuck's here. The bye race is wide open with 5 teams within one game. So will be fun to monitor going forward. Good luck to everybody in week 7, and get your parlay picks in once you're ready. And we'll be back next week. Have a good day.